According to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of mental well-being, a basic human right, enabling people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well, and work.
And when we move past that blah 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 blah, it is more than the absence of mental disorders existing on a complex continuum experienced by each person differently, in varying degrees, producing social and clinical outcomes.
Throughout our lives, multiple individual, social, and structural determinants may come in to undermine or uplift one's mental health. Such factors include one's social environment or the economic, geopolitical, and environmental circumstances you find yourself in. These seemingly little, minuscule things end up manifesting their effect on us in the form of our mental state and well-being.
And that's precisely, kinda, but at the same time, not really what we're here to talk about. Hi, I'm Maria, and this guy right here is Timothy Chalamet. No, I'm just kidding. This is my best friend, Jaden.
Yo!
He's a lot of things, but here on YouTube, you may know him as the Undeniable Dialect.
And I'm also the guy at school who yells out, "Subscribe!" No, but really, please, do subscribe.
Okay, Jaden. Being a teenager is stressful. Your brain is still under development, your body is going through changes, you have to make big life decisions, and you're often put under the judgmental lens of society.
Or if you doom scroll a lot, you're subject to confusion, clashing ideals, brain rot, and all that stuff my mom doesn't like about the internet. It's an excruciatingly crucial, painful, yet memorable, and for those who are fortunate, lovable part of life. And this process we all inevitably go through, growing up.
Both of us have been incredibly blessed to exist in an encouraging and nurturing environment.
And that's actually how we met. Thanks to my parents, I ended up going to this progressive school, and Maria was there, but as a stranger of sorts.
But yeah, and we didn't talk or interact at all for almost the entire school year.
But then, a series of well-timed events took place. Maria and my brother putting together Jeopardy questions one late night on call, our parents clicking,
They're the ones who started it.
partnering for a competition, ending up in the same class, summer camp, blah blah blah, and now we're here.
The funny thing was, both of our year-end projects last school year were writing and publishing a book. I remember seeing Jaden's mid-year presentation, thinking to myself, oh, he wrote a book too. That's cool.
Oh, and I remember. Wait, that's for a whole nother video. But I think you get it. We both have similar interests that brought us together, and now we're here, best friends.
Like siblings, chosen family, and it's such a wonderful way to grow up, with the support of the family that you're given and the family that you chose.
We like to call that a fusion family. Yeah, it's adorable.
When given the wonderful privilege and opportunity to grow as a human being, artist, and functioning member of society with such a powerful environment, there are some side effects, such as
getting to know yourself on various surface levels, feeling less isolated and lonely, and learning how to deal with people.
the ones you like and don't like.
Discovering your strengths and weaknesses, as well as developing the strength to stay true to yourself in the midst of change and growth.
As we have admitted, growing up is hard. There are trials and tribulations. Some make us grow and others make us crack or exist with a sense of brokenness for a while.
Yet from all these things, we learn lessons. Some sink in right away, and other lessons take years to be learned and internalized. From these lessons, we learn more things about ourselves and others, what makes us tick, what makes us crack, and what makes us grow. We're human, we have strengths and limitations. And though it may be hard, the more we learn of our own strengths and limitations, we may one day come to terms with them and perhaps use them to our own advantage, using self-awareness to even turn our limitations into a strength in itself, helping us in handling ourselves and dealing with other people.
We both love art, filmmaking, and writing.
That's how we express ourselves. It's our outlet for dealing with and admiring life, as well as a way of getting to know ourselves better, our flaws, our quirks, and belief systems so deeply ingrained we barely notice that it's there.
And hopefully we get to let others feel understood and a little less isolated, knowing that they're not alone.
The internet does come in handy. Well, sometimes for finding like-minded people. I published a book, and I'm currently running a YouTube channel, while Maria releases her thoughts across multiple platforms, some she doesn't even want me to find out about. Womp womp.
Hey, it's 'cause it's fun to be a secret. It's nice not being found sometimes. Despite the fact that both of us are relatively open with our thoughts, feelings, and emotions in the sense that we find a way to express them one way or another,
It doesn't mean that every time we divert ourselves to an outlet, that feeling fully satisfied, explained, or even calmed.
there are peculiar instances wherein, out of frustration of not being able to fall asleep within the time frame I set, I kick and wiggle in bed like a fish out of water, an angry one.
An angst resides in us, which some can dictate as a byproduct of artistry, a frustration of the self, or the hectic demands of potential.
My debut novel came from a palace of wishes. It was written in the period of losing my grandmother. I started it before she died, and this novel later on became an outlet for dealing with that grief, I suppose. Driven by all the would've, could've, should'ves, I built a world that let me explore, imagine, and escape, or rather hide away to a place where everything was happy and ideal. Though the novel acknowledged certain pains and the realities that come with grief, I often idealized it in the novel since life isn't always ideal in itself.
My work is found in the wants of the palace gates. Born out of a desire to enter, my words began to speak for me and not the other way around. My life is something I'd like to enunciate in a fantastical clarity. The rain speaking, the leaves waving, and stairs warping into the ennui-ridden infinite. I have my book and my YouTube channel to support that lofty premise.
That's one of my coping mechanisms. I either over-idealize the situation or exaggerate the pain I feel in a way that others may find extreme or unacceptable. And that's what it is for me, my goal as a writer and soul. I hope to be an example of what it truly is and means to be human in perhaps the most gracefully raw way possible. Another one for me is sports. I love how my heart and mind can wander away from the pain of various situations and life changes. It gives me the feeling that I have only one problem or none at all, depending on how I feel about my performance that day.
Not one activity defines my way to live life, aside from writing, of course. These dots in this simulacrum of life could affect the entire canvas if put in the right spot. A jog defining the direction of my week, or a video skyrocketing my channel. Watching a film may change my life or put it en route to ruining the day for me. In the end, it is dependent on my actions, intentional or spontaneous in nature. And one thing both of us do is spending time with the core people in our lives. It's not merely socializing on the surface level. It's living life with people who were given to you and whom you, in a sense, chose.
It comes in many forms. It may be a simple text, a scheduled or spontaneous phone call, a walk in the neighborhood, a sudden mom, dad,
A serendipitous midnight, a car ride, and so many other things. The beauty of it is that it is limitless.
So choose your core people wisely and keep them around.
Lately, Maria and I have been talking about how much easier it is to have a small circle of friends and trusted souls you live life with. We don't see it for the lack of chatter and number of exchanges, but a filter of the people who we would entrust a part of us with. Like my parents, I entrust my mark on this world. To my brother, my laugh. My grandmother, my faith. And to my talking partner right here, my life.
At the moment, right now, for us, less is more. Just as much as how more is less. If it doesn't make sense, let me quote what Jaden often says. Let it simmer.
And write a dissertation on it once you're enlightened.
You can email it or tag at The Undeniable Dialect on Instagram when you post it. We'll read it. We promise.
And that's it.
We hope you find your people and that you get to keep them around.
Treasure them. It's good for your chest.
Your feelings, your heart, your inner being, your mental health, your soul. And now, Jaden, you want to do the honors?
Well, thank you for watching.
Sorry.
Thank you for watching.